often we don't see the impact that small changes have on our lives. Many of us believe that we should do extraordinary things and create big changes in our lives to see some results. All the success stories seem to happen overnight, and when we look at our social media feed, everybody seems to have the best habits in place. However, the truth is, the external success of others didn't happen overnight, and what they show on social media is only the best part of their lives. For most people, regular and small habits are what result in the positive outcome we see. Success happens gradually and organically. Whether you want to get fit, make more money, or improve your relationships, the best thing you can do is to make small and incremental improvements to your life, or what James Clear calls atomic habits. Hello my friends, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Soukaina and I am an engineer living in Paris. And in today's video, we're reviewing the main ideas in the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. In his best-selling book, the author gives a guide to breaking bad habits and building good ones. It also shows how small, incremental, everyday routines compound into massive and positive changes over time. There are 4 key insights from the book that I'm going to discuss in this video. Firstly, we're going to talk about the power of tiny habits or the effect of compounding. Secondly, why we should focus on setting systems instead of goals. Thirdly, why it's all about identity rather than the result. And finally, we'll look at the 4 steps of behavior change. Before getting to it, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're new. With that being said, let's get started. Why small changes lead to great results? Well, this is because of the power of compounding. In finance, compounding refers to when earnings or interests are put back into the original amount of investment to create higher earnings. So compounding can create great results if we leave it to develop over time. If you just make 1% improvement every day, then the impact at the end of the year would be disproportionately strong. Here's what the number look like. An incremental change of 1% every day for 365 days will make you 37 times better. The difference that 1% makes is astonishing. And as James Clear says in his book, habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Very often we don't think about the power of tiny changes because we want results right away, or we're not patient enough to stick around for a long period to witness the outcome. So we let ourselves get distracted by bad habits that offer instant gratification rather than those with long-term benefits. And when we repeat these small errors, they accumulate into bigger problems. And as James Clear says in the book, if you want to predict where you'll end up in life, all you have to do is follow the curve of tiny gains or tiny losses and see how your daily choices will compound 10 or 20 years down the time. Good habits make time your ally, bad habits make time your enemy. Another interesting point from the book about the result of small changes is what the author calls the plateau of latent potential. If you see yourself struggling to build good habits or see results, it's not that you can't improve, it's often because you haven't crossed the plateau of latent potential yet. Usually we expect growth to be linear, but in reality it's not. Outcomes can be delayed at the start, and that's when people feel disappointed and give up. While the truth is your efforts are not wasted, they are stored. When you heat an ice cube, nothing happens at first until you reach the temperature of 32 degrees. The social reformer Jacob Riis gives a great example about this. When nothing seems to help, I go and look at a stone cutter hammering away at his rock. Perhaps 100 times without as much as a crack showing in it. Yet at the 101st blow, it will split in two, and I know it was not that last blow that did it, but all that had gone before. So yeah, it does take time to build a habit, and even when you're not seeing results, the compound effect is still working. And once you get over the valley of disappointment, you'll see great results over time. In his book, James Clear argues that results don't depend on setting goals, but on the system followed to achieve them. Goals are about the results you want to achieve. Systems are about the process that leads to those results. For instance, if your goal is to get better at playing the guitar, your system will be to practice every day for 15 minutes. James Clear identifies 4 problems with setting goals. First, winners and losers have the same goals. Every Olympian wants to win a gold medal, and every candidate wants to get the job. So if successful and unsuccessful people share the same goals, then that's not what makes a difference. Second, achieving a goal is only a momentary change. It will only change your life for a moment. If you tidy up your room once, you'll end up with a clean room for now. But if you maintain all the bad habits that led to a messy room, soon you'll end up needing another shot of motivation to clean your room again. We don't need to change the results, we need to change the systems that led to those results. If you fix the inputs, the outputs will fix themselves. Third, your goals restrict your happiness. The problem with focusing on goals is you're constantly putting off your happiness until you reach your goal. Focusing on systems instead makes you fall in love with the journey rather than the destination. You don't have to wait to get there to give yourself permission to be happy. The fourth and last problem is goals are at odds with long-term progress. If all your hard work is towards achieving a specific goal, what would you do when you get it? Many people stop improving their skills when they get the job, and many runners stop training after completing the race they signed for. So people seem to revert to their old habits after accomplishing a goal. But that's not what we want. Long-term thinking is about building a system that you enjoy. It's not about a single accomplishment. And as James Clear says in the book, the purpose of setting goals is to win the game. The purpose of building systems is to continue playing the game. Changing our habits is difficult for two reasons. First, we try to change the wrong thing, and second, we try to change our habits in the wrong way. There are three layers of behavior change: a change in your outcomes, a change in your processes, or a change in your identity. Most of us work their way from the outcome to the identity rather than identity to outcome, and that's why we fail. Habits based on the outcome focus on what you want to achieve. With identity-based habits, the focus is on who you wish to become. For instance, if I want to lose body fat and get in shape, I would probably think that I need to do a low-carb diet and maybe go for a run twice a week. This is an outcome-focused approach. But an identity-based approach would be for me to believe that I am a healthy person and prove it to myself daily by eating wholesome foods and exercising regularly, which will eventually get me the results that I want. Most people set goals and then figure out the action they need to do to achieve those goals, but they never shift the way they look at themselves. This old identity can sabotage their new habits, preventing them from achieving long-term results. Behind every action is a belief. And as James Clear says in the book, it's a simple two-step process. Decide the type of person you want to be, prove it to yourself with small wins. Now that you are excited to build new habits, you agree that it's all about small changes, you understand the importance of systems rather than goals, and you're sold on an identity-based approach to achieving goals. Now you are probably wondering, how do we build these better habits in the first place? Well, I'm glad you asked, because our friend James here gave us 4 steps patterns to building habits that last, which consist of cue, craving, response, and reward. The cue is a piece of information that triggers the brain to initiate an action because there is a reward to be found. The craving is the motivation to change or do something to get the reward. The response is the habit or the action you need to take to get the reward. And finally, the reward is the end goal and the satisfying feeling you get from the change. And it's these 4 steps patterns that lead to what James Clear calls the 4 laws of behavior change. Each law corresponds to one part of the loop. You can use these laws to facilitate good behavior and make bad one harder. The first law is make it obvious, which means that the habit needs to be effortless for you and requires no active thinking. If you want to eat your fruits, don't hide them, put them on display front and center. The second law is make it attractive. You should come up with ways to make the habits attractive to you. If the habit is unattractive, you won't have enough willpower every time to do it over and over. If you want to eat more fruits, then maybe start by buying the fruits that you like the most, so you'll want to eat one when you see it. The third law is make it easy. The less friction there is between you and your habit, the greater the chances that you'll actually do it. If your goal is to work out more often, then maybe sign up to a gym near your place or near your workplace and make sure to pack up your gym bag a day before you want to go to the gym. The fourth law is make it immediately satisfying. Our brain likes instant gratification, so it's good to come up with the simple things that bring us joy right after we perform our habit. For instance, every time you go to the gym or every 3 times you go to the gym, you can treat yourself to a smoothie or maybe a 15 minutes massage. Knowing that you'll get a reward at the end of the week will make you much more motivated to go to the gym. These are the 4 laws of behavior change according to James Clear, and you can apply them to all kinds of good habits. Conversely, you can do the opposite for bad habits. Make them invisible, unattractive, difficult, and unsatisfying. James Clear believes that environment is the invisible hand that shapes our behavior. That's why a prompt is always the first step into performing any habit. It might not always be external, but in most of the time it is. I have a whole video about why you should not depend on willpower to achieve your goals, with much more studies and research, and how you can design your environment for success. I'll leave a link in the description box if you're interested. It takes time to build a new habit and break a bad one. That's why people quit halfway. Don't be harsh on yourself. Start small, make small wins things every day, and that's how you achieve change. The more evidence you have that you can do it, the easier you'll adopt the new habit, which will become part of your identity. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!